Hello, my name is Gavin Moreno, and I'm going to be sharing a short presentation about how social media is harmful to our health. The overview of my presentation will be broken up into five sections. The first section will be social media impacts mental health in a positive and negative ways. Second, teens are highly vulnerable to anxiety, depression, and comparison. Third, building a healthier habit in managing social media can reduce our risk. Fourth will be social media can distort our body image, but also foster a connection with others. Lastly, um, striking a good balance is key to using social media wisely as a tool. Next, we have some positive impacts from social media. There are many upsides to using social media responsibly. It allows us to have educational opportunities such as resources, tutorials, and discussions on topics that we are interested in or what we care about. We can find some great information to learn online that wasn't available to us before we had social media. Next, we are allowed a self expression. On many social media platforms, we can share our thoughts, things we're interested in, such as art or hobbies or sports, and um, we can also gain ideas from others as well. Next, it increases our awareness. Many use social media to advocate for causes that they believe in and making them feel empowered to do so. What I mean by that is we can share our opinions online. We could support others' opinions, and since we do have access to many different people out there, we can raise the awareness of others to a possible issue or a thought that we find interesting to us and which is worthwhile sharing. Next, it reduces loneliness. It allows us to stay connected with our friends, our loved ones, especially during tough times like when COVID-19 was happening. It can allow people to not feel so alone. And humans are really need for connection with others. It's really important for us. Lastly, it allows us to build networks. Um, Adding on to the last topic, we can connect with our friends, family, and online communities, and it offers us encouragement and understanding. Social media can be a great tool for us and have many benefits, but that comes with a great responsibility in using it to do so. So, here are a few tips to how we can use social media responsibly. We could set time limits for ourselves. Um, Next, we can follow positive accounts. Due to our free will and our, we can follow any of the accounts that choose to inspire us and uplift rather than create stress or negativity. Next, we can take breaks from social media. This allows us just to step away and um, sort of disconnect, which is always good to do. Um, we can be mindful of our content. We can avoid posts or interactions that we see online that we don't want to sort of see or be aware of. Another great tip is to think before we post something. We got to consider that everything that we do online is will be online forever, and we must be considerate of others as well when we do voice an opinion of our own. And it's always best to look out for the whole rather than the individual. Next, we can protect our privacy. Um, when we're on social media, a lot of our information is out online, and like I said earlier, it is on there for forever, pretty much. So it would be best to only share the information about yourself that you're comfortable sharing with the world. And lastly, we can balance our online and offline life. Even though social media is great with connecting with others, um, there's no better way to connect with someone else, but in person. So, with many positive impacts of social media, there's often an opposite of social media and how it can impact our lives negatively. A few examples of this could be doom scrolling, constantly being in a screen to feel pleasure in your life, and just constantly being glued to it in order to really take your attention off yourself. Often with social media, we can view others, and often we pretty much see the highlight reel of someone else's life, and it can allow us not to feel good enough or compare to another, um, and it could be degrading to our self-esteem or our self-image, um, and and also it could be detrimental to our mental health. With these negative impacts that I had explained in the previous slide, most of them sort of reside with the teens. And some of these issues can be mental health, cyberbullying, addiction, distorted reality, and sleep disruption. Um, these are all very possible outcome of misusing social media. Uh, I do think the social media puts teens at risk of mental health issues, cyberbullying, and addiction. Um, it shows fake lives that hurt one's self esteem and often disrupt sleep habits, overall making these problems worse. Overall, teens are a very high risk for the effects with the overuse of social media. To add on, teens are particularly at risk with social media in several ways. A good example is cyberbullying. Teens are often targeted by mean or hurtful comments online, leading to emotional distress and low self esteem. This can also, another example of how teens are at risk is body image issues. When we're constantly exposed to others online, and when we begin to compare ourselves to others, we often won't feel good or as good as the other person who's putting a post out there. Um, Next, mental health struggles. It kind of ties into the body image. We find ourselves comparing ourselves to others by seeing what people post, and when people post something, it's obviously what their best is or their highlight reel. That you particularly never see the opposite in someone's life. Um, so they often seem like they're on a sort of pedestal and they're separate from you. When most of the time they're very similar to you in that sort of way. But addiction is also an issue with teens. We could spend excessive time on social media, and when we do so, it's going to disrupt our sleep. It's going to interfere with our schoolwork and our relationships and our lives. Um, and also, pressure to conform is another factor in this. When we do see others online, we often want to associate with them or be a part of what they do. So we need to act or look a certain way to fit in what the trend is happening online. Oftentimes, with all the negative side effects, we at some point we have to draw a boundary. Um, Even though social media can be a great tool for us, but sometimes it can be just a distractory activity as well. So we really got to be in control of how we use our technology, and when we can't put something down, the technology owns us. So some ways to do this is limit your screen time. We can use apps or device settings to track and reduce time spent online. We can also make spots in our life no phone zones. So when we are in that zone, we have that phone put away, and regardless of what notifications we may be receiving. And some good places are during meals, family time, or before bed. Next, we can turn off our notifications. This will help reduce the amount of distractions or um, coming into our life, so that we are constantly putting our attention on our cell phones. We can also do this by disabling notifications for certain apps or accounts that don't serve us in a positive way. And also a good way to draw boundaries, taking a digital detox. This is just a commitment to, for a short period of time, being away from our technology for a little bit to really ground ourselves into our life and be outside, hang with our family, our friends, sort of disconnect. Um, yeah. And lastly, we can set clear goals with our technology. A good example of a goal is limiting your screen time to a certain amount of time during the day. Um, yeah. In conclusion, social media can deeply affect our mental health, especially for teens, uh, by introducing many illnesses such as anxiety, depression, or negative self-image. The pressure to compare, cyberbullying, and unrealistic standards make it a challenging space to navigate. While technology offers many positive aspects such as connection, self-expression, and but the risk can sometimes outweigh the benefits if it's not used responsibly and we don't set boundaries for ourselves. Um, in order to protect our mental health, we must be mindful of how we use social media and technology, and we have to set boundaries and focus on building healthier habits. By finding balance when using social media, we can reduce harm and prioritize overall well being.